Boom! There it is, ladies and gents. Let's get this show started. It's Friday. You got your mind right? Are you ready to rock and roll today? Are you ready to take on the weekend? Let's find out. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Is your business in need of customers? Then you found the right show. Hernan Cias is the business bro, and he makes getting customers fun and easy. Watch, listen, and learn as each episode is designed to sell. Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, ladies and gents, it's Friday, yo. I mean, I know you've been busting your ass all week. You got some stuff going on that you may or may not have completed this week. You either got that much closer to your goal or you crept a little bit backwards. And today we're going to be talking about mindset. How do you get your head straight? Or what are the certain things that are going on in your mind? And what are some cool things that we can do to kind of break patterns or start patterns? All right. So how to get your mindset right. By the way, I've dropped the show link because I don't got a guest today. Guest rescheduled for another date. So here we are. If you are interested, if you want to come on the show, you want to hang out, you want to talk a little bit about mindset, what you're going through, maybe just want to hop on and say what's up, there is a link in the live feed chat. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever. It is there. And if you want to join in with me, feel free to click on the link. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys. And it's always fun with the random talks, right? I mean, that's what social media is for. We got the random talks. All right, so let's jump into this. Mindset. Okay, first and foremost, there's always two sides to every coin. There's always another way to look at it. One of the things that I think I used to look at as a negative on my side is I always look at both sides of things. And the upside of that is it gives me a great perspective. I'm able to see from both sides how it affects two types of people, a problem, a fight, a discussion, whatever it is. I can look at things from both sides. But the downside of that is it kind of hindered me because now I'm looking at both sides and I sit back and I'm like, well, you got a valid point and well, you got a valid point. How do we move forward? And sometimes I end up stuck in that spot. Now, I want to start off with the first mindset, the first obstacle or thing that I noticed that a lot of people go through. And the first one is depression, right? One of the reasons why you are not going to continue to move forward, why you are not going to do the things that you need to do in your business, the reason why your revenue could be affected, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, is because we go through these bits of depression, right? Depression, the way I've learned, and I'm not a psychologist or anything, but this is how I've seen it in my students in their classroom. This is how I've seen it with friends and family, entrepreneurs. When they hit depression, it's usually something tied up in their past, something that they can't get over, something that's traumatic, could be something that changed the way they operate or perceive the world. And so depression is one of those things that kind of hounds you. And the best way I've heard it described is you just kind of give up on doing some of the things that you need to do in life. You don't feel like you can get out of bed. You don't feel like taking a shower. You don't feel like taking care of yourself. And you just kind of roll your day like a meh, right? You're just stuck in this space. So how do you get out of that? How do you change that? Now, I can't speak from my own bats of depression. I don't really feel like I personally deal with a lot of depression. And I'm also not of the mindset where you can just medicate your way out of these things. My methods, you may not agree with, you may agree with, but I know that these are the things that have worked for me when I've hit my level of these types of things. And the first one is depression. I think we all go through it. Now, there are some of us who go through really intense levels of depression and others that are get into some depressive modes and make their way out of it. So I'm not trying to downplay any of these. You can have severe issues in any one of these categories, mental issues, and mental health is vitally important. You need to get your head straight, not just for business, but for you to enjoy your life. Okay. So first of all, depression. I think what works for me, what has worked for me in the past is a forced action, right? So like we just described depression, right? You can't get yourself out of bed. You don't feel like taking a shower. You don't really want to eat, or you're eating too much, right? One of those things. But for me, the thing that gets me out of it is to force myself into an action that negates that negative feeling. forcing myself to watch a funny movie, forcing myself to have a conversation with somebody who I think is high energy, forcing myself to take a shower, forcing myself to get out of bed. And I know it's not common practice for people to say, oh, well, it's easy for you to say, you're not feeling it. You're exactly right. But in that moment, I know that ultimately I am the one who has to change my own mindset. And so for me, that depression thing is a forced action. To solve my own personal depression, it's a forced action. Now, I don't know what kind of action you got to take. I always say start with the baby steps, start with something small. Force yourself out of bed. It's not going to change your whole entire mindset, right? I mean, not in one step, but maybe you force yourself out of bed and you force yourself to open the blinds and let the light in. Or you force yourself to stand outside and soak in some sun. Or you force yourself to play with some little kids because, little kids are always full of fun energy. You force yourself, you put yourself in some of these awkward positions to break the cycle of depression, to break in your mind this cycle of I'm not good enough. I can't get on with my life. This is not for me. We oftentimes need other people in our lives to help us do that. And there's a number of different ways. So for me, depression, force the action, force the interaction with somebody who has high energy. I love kids. I love dogs. Not so much cats for this, but dogs are great for this because they have great energy. You're looking for things that will give you some positivity in your life, sunshine in your face. Force yourself to do some of these things and break that depression loop a little bit at a time. Next one. On the other side of depression, there's the anxiety side. Right now, I deal with anxiety a little bit differently. I can feel that feeling in my chest, or like for me, it's like in my legs or like in my abs area. I can feel this awkward sensation when I start to feel anxious. And I usually feel anxiety, me personally, as I get closer to completing a task, but I can still see there's quite a bit of work to do. For me, it's like in grading, for example. Any of you who've ever had to grade anything or go through a stack of paperwork, you have a stack of paperwork that you're going through and you can see the stack getting smaller and smaller. And as I get smaller and smaller, I know the end is getting closer and start to feel this energy like, I want it to be done now. I want it to be done now. But I'm really dealing with the emotions of a future result that I don't really have control over when I'm going to have it done. I don't really have the end time. I'm getting closer as I complete it, or I'm getting closer to this thing, but I can't really control those things. And I feel like that's where a lot of people's anxiety stems from. They are stressed out, thinking about, worrying about things that they have really either little to no control over, or things that may or may not even happen. I mean, this really what anxiety, if depression stems from is rooted in the past, anxiety is rooted in the future. And so dealing with this for me has always been words that I use for myself. So if you're the type of person who's dealing with anxiety, you see a lot of these physical feelings, your heart starts pounding, right? You feel that anxiety. Some people feel it like me in their gut. Maybe you start feeling a little clammy. You start sweating a little bit, or your face gets a little flustered, right? Those are some of those similar feelings that people feel when they start to feel anxious. I know people who get anxious in crowds. They start to feel a little uncomfortable, a little shaky, right? The words that you use to describe what you're feeling, to describe your situation, are the things that are going to either keep you in that anxious state or get you out of it. At least that's what it's been for me. So when I find myself anxious about something, I try to change my vocabulary. I'm not anxious about this. I'm excited. I'm not nervous about what I'm about to do. Dude, I'm amped, right? A lot of the same feelings physically feel the same, but what you're perceiving in your mind, that thing that you're putting in your mind, is going to give you a different energy going forward. You see, if you tell yourself you're anxious, you tell yourself you're panicking, right? You tell yourself you're uncontrollable, your mind is going to just follow what you're telling it to do. So it's going to feel uncontrollable. You're going to walk into this situation and not have the confidence to go forward. You're going to freak yourself out. But if you tell yourself you're excited, if you tell yourself you're pumped to be here, you can't wait to get this thing going, that's a different message that you're sending your mind. That's a different message that's triggering in your subconscious. And for me, this is one of those things that happens, especially when I'm about to do a couple sales calls, right? Still to this day, I can do a little research. I'm like, oh, this is a great person that I would love to have this person as a client. It would make some great commission, or it would greatly benefit my portfolio. right? And then think about the words. Like I'm freaking myself out by talking about all these benefits that are there for me. And I know there's a lot of salespeople that do this, right? Because I mean, for me, I do this all the time. I start thinking about all my benefits, all the things that I want in this transaction, all the things that I really can't control, because at the end of the day, the customer is the one who has to agree to work with me. So if I freak out about why they might say no, or I start thinking about how I might not be able to pay a mortgage or a bill, or I start thinking about all these other things, I'm going to drive myself insane. But if I just start flipping the language a little bit and start saying things like, man, I'm so excited. I'm about to help this person reach this goal that they're looking to achieve. I'm going to find the best ways to get them from point A to point B. I'm so excited to be talking to this individual because they're going to be able to share with me all kinds of things in an industry I maybe didn't know about. Start flipping that language, right? Start telling yourself about the excitement and use that same energy, that same feeling inside your body to your advantage. Flip that switch with the words that you're using, the words that you're telling yourself. And this is not something that you're going to do like randomly overnight, right? But it's something that you can start identifying. You see, I've talked to behavioral economics, I've talked to psychologists, I've talked to therapists. It's one of the perks about being on the show, right? And having this kind of podcast. And for a lot of them, when they talk about dealing with a lot of these situations, it's about what we end up telling ourselves in our own minds, like the words that we use, the people we surround ourselves with, the music that we listen to, all that, we're defining our reality in our own minds. Now, I'm not saying things in the real world can't affect you, but what I'm saying for sure is that your universe is designed in your mind, and the words that you use are vitally, vitally important. Talk to yourself as if you were talking to any other client or individual. Use positive words, right? And this is one of those funny things in the world we live in today, with so much with a cancel culture. You're worried about things you're going to say because people are going to judge you. People are going to cancel you. So what do you do in your mind? At least I know what I do. I have an idea. I have an opinion. I have a thought. And those 5 words or 10 words, actually, what will other people think? What will other people say? Start pondering in my mind. And then I start discounting my own thoughts. I start discounting the value of my opinion. I start discounting the quality of the content that I could create if I made that video or answered that question. The words you use are going to cancel yourself out, or the words you use are going to stop you from moving forward. The words you use are going to put you in the mindset that are going to halt you from being able to make that sale. The words you use matter. Practice is the thing that's going to make yourself perfect. I always talk about how when we first started the podcast, it was trash, man. I mean, I had zero energy. I couldn't talk behind the mic. I fumbled and I said and okay after every sentence. And so what James and I did is we corrected it as we worked through the problem. We didn't become good at speaking behind the microphone overnight. It took many, many episodes, right, to shift that mindset so that when I hit that live button, my energy is up. That's what I want from you guys. That's what I want for you guys, is to be able to take that mindset that is depressed, or take that mindset that is anxious, and literally be able to identify the way that you feel. Because if you can name it, if you can identify it, oh man, those are depression things. What do I do to solve depression? Oh, that's right. I'm going to force myself to take some action. I'm going to force myself to go play with some kids. I'm going to force myself to go outside. I'm going to force myself to do these things. Or you name it. Oh, dude, that's anxiety. What do I do to fix anxiety? I got to change the words. I'm not anxious. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm jazzed. I'm ready to take this thing on. If you can name the feeling in your mindset, that identity that you're creating for yourself, that feeling that you're stuck on, then you can correct it, right? That's really what it comes down to. All right. The next one that's going to stop you, the mindset that's going to stop you from making that money that you're looking for or reaching that revenue source, and it's one that stops me day in and day out: procrastination. How many of you procrastinate? I remember listening to, I think it was Zig Ziglar, and he has this thing. He's like, I was going to join a procrastination club, but I decided to put that off till later. Right? Like literally, you procrastinate for everything. And For me, the procrastination thing is always, I procrastinate on the thing that I know is going to give me the greatest result. So, for example, you want to lose weight. What do you procrastinate on? Or what do you put off the most? Running, because running sucks. It just does. So you put it off. And then you look back, you don't get the result you're looking for. Why? Because you didn't actually do the work. You kept putting it off. You're going to start on Monday. You'll start next week. You'll start on the first of the month. You start at the beginning of the year. You put it off. Well, what about the business side? Procrastination is going to hurt you there too. Because I don't know about you guys, but making sales calls and actually talking to customers, that's the number one way that you're going to grow your business. But what do you procrastinate on? You procrastinate on door knocking. You procrastinate on picking up the phone. You procrastinate on creating content. You procrastinate on creating ads. You procrastinate on creating your website. You procrastinate on all those things that you know if you did would take your business to that next level, would get the bills paid, would keep the lights on. So how do you fix procrastination? What's a trick, a tactic that I've used to help beat procrastination? And that's the thought of completion. To me, this is the idea of completing something, at least getting started. I'm going to go with that. Not completing, I'm going to say getting started. So I know that once I start and I get in the zone on doing something, it's hard to stop me. I mean, I'm going to keep going. I have this obsession with this podcast, this marketing agency, like all these things that I'm doing right now. It's an obsession. But even then, there are things in this business, there are things on this show that I need to do, things that I continue to procrastinate on. And if I'm going to get them done, I have to use this strategy, which is 5 minutes. I'm going to do this thing for 5 minutes. I will set a timer and I will start doing this thing with no other distraction for 5 minutes. Why? Why only 5 minutes? I can't get most of what I need to get done in 5 minutes, but it's not about the 5 minutes. It's not about the length of time. It's about getting you in the habit of starting the thing you don't want to do, because the first time that you do it in that day or in that hour, whatever it is, that's the hardest point. Picking up the phone and talking, like cold calling, the hardest call to make is the first one. Once you get that one out of the way, oh, okay, I can do this. So if you set a task up that you are procrastinating on, that you're holding back, and you just do it for 5 minutes every day, you're going to find yourself in a flow state. You're going to find yourself in a position where getting started, you're over it. Keep going, that's a lot easier. Right now, all of a sudden, you started for 5 minutes. Maybe it was, you know what? I need to sit down and do my accounting. Nobody wants to do their accounting, but you know you got to do it. So you sit down and you start. 5 minutes. I'm gonna do my accounting for 5 minutes. And what happens? You start, you open up, you start entering some data, then you start, looking at your ledger list, or you start looking at the data entries, and you get in there and your timer goes off. 5 minutes is done. You're like, oh, I can do this a little longer. Stop the timer real quick. You keep going. And all of a sudden you've been doing it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. The task is complete. You don't have a problem doing things. You have a problem starting things. So set yourself a 5-minute timer. Whatever the task is that you need to get done, the things that are going to take you to that next level, those dollar productive things that you keep putting off, do it for 5 minutes and watch your life change. Look, when I wanted to start working out, I wanted to develop, man boobs, right? The muscular kind, because I didn't have them really before. COVID hit and I was like, I'm going to do it now. This is the time. This is my time. It was March of 2020. And I know, in order for me to develop the nice chest muscles, arms, I know it's going to require a lot of push-ups. So I set a number. I'm going to do 200 push-ups a day. But I started procrastinating. So I set myself timers. And it wasn't 5 minutes because I'm a little crazy. But I did give myself 4 hours. And I set a timer for every hour. And what I did was every hour on the hour, I dropped down and I did 50 push-ups. And it might have taken me 25 minutes, might have taken me 30 minutes the first time to do the 50 push-ups. It didn't matter. I had the entire hour to get it done. But I set this as a daily routine. Every hour on the hour, that's when I was doing my push-ups. And 4 hours became 3 hours. 4 hours became 2 hours. 4 hours became 1 hour. 4 hours, to do those 200 push-ups now, I add in sit-ups and everything, it's like 30, 45 minutes. But I worked my way to get there. And you will too. If you find yourself procrastinating all the time, 5 minutes. You hate running? You know what? Go outside, put your shoes on, put your gym equipment on or gym gear on, whatever it is, shorts, shirt, whatever you're going to do, and go outside and run for 5 minutes. And then come back and be done. And tomorrow do the same thing. And as you continuously put this in your schedule, you're going to be this consistent, which is the next thing. Well, confidence is the next thing. I got consistency, and that'll be it for the show. But that's the way you win. 5 minutes. Don't block out the hour. Don't block out all these things. Time blocking. You'll get there. Start with 5 minutes. You'll break procrastination that way. The next one is confidence. So nothing can turn down your revenue sense. Nothing can turn down your business momentum. Nothing can blow away everything that you're doing like a lack of confidence. You have to be confident in what it is that you're doing. You have to be confident that you can provide a solution to your customers. You have to be confident that whatever the task is in front of you, that you can complete this thing. And how do you build confidence? How do you do that? For me, it's been tasks. I have small wins that I do every single day that I make sure I set up for myself, because every small win adds up. It feels good to win, right? It feels great to have accomplished something. And if you have little tasks in your day that get you there, you're piling up the wins. You're building that little bit of momentum every single day to get to that level of confidence where you walk in feeling, yeah, I got this. My alarm goes off at 4:30 in the morning. I don't have a snooze option because that's my first win of the day. I put my gym equipment on, go to the bathroom, wash my face. I hit my run. When I go on my run, that's my second win of the day. Not completing it, just going on it. Second win of the day. Complete my run. Third win of the day. Take my moment after my run to post my Instagram reel. Fourth win of the day. Creating content. Stack up the little tasks that you start off with in the morning. See, what happens to most people is their alarm goes off. They know they're supposed to get up. They hit the snooze button. Loss number one. Then they sleep in because they keep hitting the snooze button. They start to get late to work, so they're rushing to get out. Loss number two. They didn't even get up and make their bed, so their house is a mess. They come home to chaos. Another loss. So, maybe on their way to work, somebody cuts them off, and now they've been aggravated with all the other losses that they had in the day. That just spirals out of control. Like, you have to live your life by design. To have confidence means you have to build it upon little tasks, little wins, so that you feel good about your day. So you start feeling good about what it is that you're doing. And if you line yourself up, if you set yourself up with some small tasks in the morning, maybe for you it's journaling in the morning. Maybe for you it's meditation in the morning. Maybe it's a workout. Maybe it's getting up on time. But you shift your mindset by setting yourself up to win. Small tasks, easy things to do. You get them done, you win, you build that confidence so that when you do approach the day, the problems that are bigger, the problems that need solving, man, you already have a momentum of winning. You've already won a bunch of times this morning. This one ain't no thing. And now you got the other strategies, right? Maybe you've been thinking about this thing for a while, so you start feeling like you're getting anxious. No, you're not. You're getting excited. That time is getting closer and you're like, well, maybe I'm going to go do the dishes, or maybe I'm going to go watch some TikTok or something like that. No, you set your task up for 5 minutes because that's what you're going to do. And now you start taking action. See, you're conquering your mindset one step at a time. So when the problem of the prospect or the problem of solving a cash flow issue or the problem of whatever the entrepreneurial space is going to throw at you, you're ready for it. You've lined up some wins, you've built your confidence, you've started the project, and you're going to figure it out because you set yourself up to win. And the last piece before we head out today, the last piece that I think to get your mindset so that you can get your revenue right is consistency. Consistency is the key. Repetition is the key. No matter what it is that you want to do in life, when you start something, you're not very good at it. But if you continuously work at it, you become better. And as you become better, you learn new strategies and ways to make things look easier. And before you know it, you're so good at something because you've consistently been doing it that you make it look easy. And everybody looks at you like, I can't believe you do what you do. How do you do that? It was consistency. You set yourself up for 5 minutes a day. You set yourself up with winning tasks all the way through. You've set yourself up to win every single day. You've built your own momentum. And what helps with consistency, the thing that helped me is to set rituals and routines. This is what I do. I wake up in the morning at 4:30 during the week. This is what I do. This is my routine. I go for a 6-mile run. This is what I do. This is my routine. I do those 200 push-ups, 200 steps. That's what I do. This is my routine. This is the minimum standard that I set for myself. These are the things that I do every single day because I set them for myself. And I remain consistent because it gives me the momentum I need to get my mind right and move forward. That's it. I mean, there's tons of other issues. And yes, when it comes to mindset, you can go way deeper. But those to me are the 5 things that I deal with on a regular basis. There are times when you get depressed. How do you deal with that? You force yourself into some action. You make yourself move and get up and do those things. You don't have a choice. Do it, or it's going to take you in another direction. Anxiety is based in the future, things you can't control. But when you start feeling those emotions well up, use different words. You are not anxious. You are excited. Right? The words you use will become your reality. Procrastination. Everybody procrastinates on the things that are actually going to make the biggest difference in their life. Because the things that won't make a big difference in their life but are fun, you don't procrastinate on. Those are the things that get done. But the things that will make a difference, you procrastinate on. So how do you defeat that? 5-minute actions. Start for 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes you still can't get right, close it for that day, move it on to another day, and do it again later. 5 minutes. Because oftentimes you're not going to close it and put it away for later. Once you get started, you will continue. Your problem is not that you can't do things. Your problem is that you won't start things. So if you set yourself up with a 5-minute timer, you'll beat that procrastination window. Confidence. Set yourself up with small wins. Little tasks that you got to do every day to set yourself up to win. Don't hit the snooze button. Drink that glass of water. Make your bed. Right? All these little things. Set your coffee up, whatever it is that you do. Do these small wins. Get yourself in a position where you're winning already so that when you hit bigger problems, you walk into those bigger problems with confidence that you are capable of winning because you have a history of already winning that day. And lastly, consistency. Ain't nothing going to get you there better than momentum. It's like a little current in a river. It might look like a small current, but that thing can push you forever. Right? This is how momentum works. You got to build it. But once it gets going, it's virtually unstoppable. And you do that by setting up routines and standards for yourself. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is what defines me. And this is why I do it every single day. You do those things, you're going to get your mind right. You're going to get yourself in a position where you're taking action. And that revenue is going to come in so pretty. You're going to be happy. Not because of the revenue, but because you've become a person who's in control of your mindset. And that's really what it's about. It ain't really the money. It's about what you got between your ears. Get your mind right. Get your life right. All right, ladies and gents, look, 30 minutes of content in 30 days of content and 30 minutes of recording. That's what we do. We're all about creating content here on the Business Bros. So if you need help creating content for your business, you want your brand to stick out, you want people to actually recognize who you are and see you on a regular basis, go to businessbros.biz. I'd love to work with you. Different options that we got there, just different ways to help your business grow. See you guys again next week. Peace. And we're out.
Thanks for watching The Business Bros. If you're ready to get more clients and want to work with The Business Bro, visit our website, www.businessbros.biz. and click on the Need More Customers button, or learn how to generate more referrals with our video testimonial packages. Go to www.businessbros.biz.